Hey guys, welcome to the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where you'll learn Feng Shui from a classical point of view, taking out the myth and superstition. So if you're interested in learning Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, all things Chinese metaphysics, as well as the superstitions and myths that connect it all, you'll enjoy learning Feng Shui with me. Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where ancient traditions meets modern living. I'm Candice Berlanga, certified Feng Shui practitioner and red ribbon professional with the International Feng Shui Guild. Today we're going to look at the energy for June. We're going to look at the seasonal nodes, how to stay healthy, and we'll take a look over the Learn Feng Shui newsletter, and we'll look at the best and worst sectors, as well as the most impacted signs for the month of the horse. All right, let's get into it. Starting around June 5th through the 20th is that first solar cycle of energy, which is a 15-day cycle that governs 15 days of the month. That first one is called planting of thorny crops, but I've also seen it called grain in the ear, which we'll talk about in just a second, how to stay healthy. And then June 20th through July 5th starts that 15-day solar cycle known as summer solstice. And of course, this corresponds closely with the pagan wheel of the year and the observance of what else? The summer solstice. So staying healthy during this time of year. I'm going to link an article here that's from the New Jersey Center for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. Remember, this does bring in a little bit of Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is about eating certain specific things during the time of the year, so you can stay healthy all year. Here it says traditionally during these seasonal nodes that this month, there's several things traditionally recommended for healthy living. The first is taking a siesta. It says here that, in other words, the afternoon nap during this time of year, damp and heat evils in the environment starts to predominate. In Chinese medicine, the spleen is susceptible to dampness. I talked about that last month. It's going to be hot all summer, so this is good to kind of follow. The spleen governs the flesh of the four limbs, and damp evils, this encumbers the flesh of the four limbs, making them feel heavy and weary, leading to body fatigue and feeling like you don't have strength. I kind of liken this to feeling groggy. Sometimes we get groggy feeling during this time. Napping is the best way to recuperate vitality, especially when done during the most yang or hot time of the day, usually around noon to 3. Napping traditionally allows people to rest from the summer heat and dampness and offers a way to support the spleen. The second recommendation is clearing toxins. Toxins refer to heat toxins and water toxins, since it's humid in a lot of parts. So you want to be careful to limit your exposure to the sun in the middle part of the day if you can. I mean, maybe you work outside and I know sometimes you can't take a nap midday either. I mean, realistically, most people have to work, but just kind of resting, maybe trying not to go outside during that time, but just avoiding overexposure to heat in the middle part of the day will help for people who have those damp conditions. Also reducing salt, specifically sodium and other similar intakes that can make you swell, especially if you have high blood pressure. Avoid that sodium also, which we know. So that's what's recommended. And again, just light exercise, and then avoid it the hottest time of the day. Then you should stay healthy for the rest of the summer. Moving now to the newsletter, available at learnfengshui.com, linked in the show notes below, LEARNFENGSHUI.com. There's a blog post where I put the monthly newsletters. You can go check out all the information that I'm going to cover today, and you'll be able to, follow along for yourself. The month of the water horse renew. It starts June 5th, like I just said, and goes through around July 7th. The water horse, it's where fire and water meet. The water horse in itself is a contradiction. Big fire energy of the horse, carrying or holding water. The energy can be a bit unpredictable, bring feelings of self-doubt, maybe insecurity. But you can bring in some earth element to give you some boundary to the water and calm the fire element. Physically, take a short walk or ground by going barefoot, wearing earthy tones, maybe even spending time in the southwest sector of your home. Or you could use your best directions, using those 8 mansion directions, and face your stability direction. Even doing some self-care can help. Anything that's an earth energy will help you ground a little bit. And that includes being outside. Emotionally, you can set boundaries in a relationship to connect with nurturing energy. Maybe you have a chat with your mom or a mother figure, and sticking to a routine to add predictability can help. Weather trends, the possibility of a rainy month in some areas, whereas others may experience a really dry weather, hot all around. Remember, it starts to get hot and humid during this time of year. And again, it kind of depends on the area that you live. But when I look at weather trends, one thing I do is I look at past years to see what that weather was. And so I'm not really using a sophisticated system. I'm really looking back just at the year, previous years of the water horse. The last one was 2002. And one of the things that I noticed is that it was very extreme. And so there was like flooding, there was droughts, there were hurricanes and tornadoes. So we might have some extreme weather this month. We'll just see. But again, I do think the possibility of the mix of rain in really wet areas and then that flooding maybe in some areas that tend to get that super wet weather this time of year. So we'll just kind of have to see. Again, I can't really predict the weather, but I just kind of look at past trends to see how it could connect. And June marks, and then here also on the newsletter, you might want to go check that out. But I have a section here, boosting visibility and recognition in the summer. Remember, it's the season of fire. June marks the peak fire season. Use this month to step into the spotlight. You can use it for recognition. Remember, fire also represents recognition. It's a good time to re-energize your environment and refocus some goals. So if you're working, studying, or even managing your household, your space can reflect your mindset, and small shifts now can carry you throughout the second half of the year. Remember, after the summer solstice, the energy does start to wane. Even though the heat does not, the energy will start to become a more yin energy after the summer solstice. The days begin to shorten, usually even imperceptibly. So you have to remember that things will start to kind of calm and slow down a little bit after the summer solstice period. And I do have some feng shui actions, just refreshing your space, adding some fire energy. So you can check that out on the newsletter. Most of it's just kind of to push you through organizing tax paperwork, adding plants or a fan to your area, just some things you can do to set some goals and kind of boost your recognition throughout the rest of the year. All right, let's go now to that zodiac forecast and look at zodiac signs most impacted by the energy of the horse. All right, now looking at the zodiac forecast for the month of the horse. The energy will impact you depending on where it falls in your natal chart. Remember, you have 4 zodiac signs. So you just look at where that zodiac falls, and that is the area of your life it will have the potential to impact. The year, if the animal falls in your year, represents your social circle, friends, and community around you, usually kind of your external. The month can represent your career or parental relationships. If it falls on a day, it can affect your relationships or your health. And then the hour, if it falls in the hour, it can affect your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, and even your relationship with your children. And if you are the boss or something at your work, if you have subordinates, you can look at it impacting that area. The zodiac signs that are most impacted, of course, the horse, the Grand Duke or Tai Sui for the month. We're going to look at the Shin Sha stars to see where to focus our attention. This month can bring a mixed energy for the horse. The Sky Emptiness star may cause feelings of low confidence or disappointment, especially if you're relying too much on others to meet your expectations. Note the water horse's conflicting energy, like I just talked about. On the upside, the Sun Star offers a strong problem-solving energy. It's a great time to tackle issues head-on and get things out in the open. And the presence of the Heavenly Chef encourages relaxation and enjoying life's pleasures, while the Peach Blossom can boost charm and the way others view you publicly, whether it's in romance or just recognition. You're likely to attract more attention this month. So good for you, horse. Just be cautious of that sky emptiness again. A lot of this energy is just the way we feel. So even those feelings of low confidence or disappointment, relying too much on others, the horse has the energy this year where it's like you are waiting for somebody else to do something and you can be disappointed by them not doing it. So maybe you're collaborating with somebody else and they just can't seem to work out a schedule with you this year. It could be something like that. So just, maybe you could do some solo things also. So that's for the horse. Remember, this can be found on learnfengshui.com in the newsletter also. The snake and goat combines with the horse and makes the season of summer, so the energy of fire. This has a potential to make you very strong and show wealth opportunities. Remember, wealth opportunities come in the form of work also. And so doesn't just mean money's flying to you, you're going to win the lottery, but sometimes the opportunity will present itself for more work. Maybe you acquire some assets or you're able to sell something or you get more work. So that's kind of how it works. The combo boosts motivation, visibility, and leadership. It's good for making some moves, standing out. This month, you're going to want to avoid activating the south sector, which is that sector of fire, due to the 3 conflict star for the month. You can support the fire with some wood energy, focus on growth, learning, and new opportunities to keep that momentum going without burning yourself out. The 3 harmony with the horse is the tiger and dog. So if you have one of these, look at expansion, visibility, and branding. Use the energy to take on ideas that you've been sitting on, lead or inspire others, especially in a group setting, maybe a mastermind group. Stay physically active to keep fire energy flowing and avoid frustration. Keep moving around. Focus on one project, especially if it's a passion project, instead of scattering your energy around. Focused fire. Support your fire element by engaging in wood-based activities, learn something new, build connections, or start a growth-oriented habit. Self-help is also a wood energy, so learning or self growth. The secret friend combo of 6 is the goat, so the goat and the horse combine, and they also form fire. You can use this to lean into collaboration. The combo attracts helpful people and mentors, so ask for help and don't be afraid to ask for support either. Allies show up when you're open to receiving them. I know I've heard people say like, oh, no one ever helps me. Well, if you believe that, then you'll never find anyone. Just keep asking for support and you'll find some. Channel fire energy into creative or expressive outlets, art, design, or heart-to-heart talks. That also is a fire energy. Use this time to refine your goals with the help of others rather than doing it alone. Remember that collaboration and connection. And you can also add wood element to help grow the fire, join a learning circle, reconnect with friends, or grow your network with purpose. So again, collaboration and networking. The Clash Zodiac sign is the rat. So remember, this is the energy of water and June's the energy of fire. So they sit in opposition to each other. Remember that a combination can take precedence and take a clash away. So that's one way to do it. You can use the supportive energy of the dragon in the southeast or the monkey in the southwest to take that opposing energy away. If you need help finding that in your home, you can always message me. I promise I will not bite, and I'm pretty nice, I think. I would like to answer questions. So if you need help finding that in your home, I can definitely point that out to you. Just note that in your mapping that you need to see where that is. During clashes, you can use opposing energy to make a change also. So if you just have that clashing energy, just take that energy and make a change. It's a good time to like quit smoking. You can, start a new religion, join a church, or, just something that's like a major life change. Good to do around that time. You can move, you can start a new diet or exercise routine. So just something that makes change can also take that energy away. All right, let's go to the feng shui for the month of June. Remember, all this stuff is in the newsletter, learnfengshui.com. Okay, so feng shui for June. You can enhance these areas by adding a feng shui activation, meaning you can move the energy or chi in the area with a radio, fan, sometimes an aquarium. I'll note that on the newsletter, there's a little icon, a candle, or even a moving object. Or you can just use the area, position yourself in the area to receive energy. So using that sector for work, studying, or even cleaning and decluttering, moving furniture around can activate the area. The best areas are the northwest. Remember, it does have that 3 there. But the 8 well stars going, so this month brings a productive drive with a little bit of tension. The 8-3 can fuel motivation and growth because it makes a wood energy. It's a special combination, but you can it also can spark some irritability. Use the sector for focused action like financial planning, setting goals, or even communication. But make sure it's clear to avoid conflict. Good for public speaking or preparing a presentation, so you can use the sector for that. If you're a Gua 6. This can be a powerful space for strategy, decision making, or organizing your next steps. It's also a good idea to focus on financial matters, especially long-term planning. Great for focused or targeted growth. You can activate the sector by spending time here working or planning. To activate the energy, you can use a fan, music, radio, or even a lamp. Clean, declutter, and tidy up. Going to the center is the Flying Star 7. Remember, this is called a legal and dispute star. And with the 2 in the center, this could just set the tone for the month. I really don't look at activating the sector. Some schools of thought do, but if you want to put a cure there, you can. The 7-2 combination can point to health concerns, especially if you've had an underlying issue. I mean, that can just affect anybody in the house. especially since it's the Tai Chi of the house in the center. It's a good time to follow up with your doctor, schedule needed procedures. Interesting, I do have a follow-up appointment this month. We'll see how that goes. Sometimes that 7-star represents needing a procedure or surgery done. That's why I talked about the caution with the 2-star, with the health already there, and then the 7-star representing surgery or a knife cutting. Sometimes that may mean you have to do something like that, but it also represents communication and networking. So if health isn't a concern, that's not going to affect everybody's health. You may notice challenges in communication, so just be careful with misunderstandings or harsh words this month. Remember, 7 is called the legal and dispute star, and although it's not aggressive like the 3-star in that northwest for the year, it can still it's more of like an argumentative type of energy. So again, just the communication this month. Focus on that for the month, just in general. Flying star number 4, the Academy star, goes to the southwest to Guatu. A 4-8 combination, very favorable combination for the month, supports creativity, learning, and stable growth. The 4-star helps with academic or artistic energies, while the 8-star offers a grounding and long-term success. Together, they support personal development and meaningful connections. Also great for building wealth and assets. When anytime that 8 falls in the 2 in the southwest, that represents like acquiring assets or land or even real estate. Guatu, this month is ideal for anyone involved in writing, studying, teaching, and good for building relationships too. Great for financial gain, acquiring assets, and making investments. If you have any investments this month, it's a good time. You can maybe cash out or just acquire more. And you can enhance it by spending time in the sector, reading, studying, or working on creative projects. You can activate it with a fan, radio lamp, or just declutter and tidy up. Flying star number 6, the luck star, goes to the southeast for the month. A nice 6-1 combination there. Very auspicious combination. Supports career advancement, recognition, and clear decision making. The 6-star brings authority, leadership, and structure, while that 1-star can add wisdom, communication, and helpful support. Together, they promote smooth progress, strategic thinking, and opportunities, especially in work. And if you are a manager or in a management position, the head or boss of a company, Southeast is great to use this month. Gua 4. This month is an excellent area to use if you're seeking clarity or influence or support in your career or leadership roles. And you can enhance that by spending time in the sector. Great for work, writing, or making important decisions, planning, or strategy. A fan, light, or regular use. Clean and declutter the sector, like I talked about. Flying star number 9, spiritual and happiness star, goes to Gua 7 in the west. It's a 9-4 combination. It's a 9-4 combination. This combination brings bright, expressive, and creative energy. It can support romance, learning, inspiration, and connection. It's great for artistic work, teaching, anything involved with communication and networking. Good for strengthening bonds or attracting new ones. Also this month, if you're a Gua 7, is well suited for creative projects, writing, even dating, spending time with loved ones. You can use the sector to make connections or study, take phone calls, and have meetings. Maybe a Zoom meeting there. You can enhance it by spending time here, especially for that creative work I just mentioned. Use a fan, lighting, music, clean and declutter. Use the area for writing, journaling, or even brainstorming. Maybe I will use it to brainstorm my podcast. My bedroom's in the west, and I work there in the mornings during the summer. All right, let's go to the challenging sectors for the month. These are areas that are considered negative and can be neutralized by adding a cure. Cure can be a saltwater cure, a charm with 6 or 7 coins, like the metal energy. Other various adjustments, metal weights, decor, or even items can be used to suppress some of these energies, just depending on your preferred cure. So this can vary widely by schools of thought. Most of the time, I just will recommend a salt cure or one of those coin charms. I don't really do too much else. 2-6 combination in the south. Remember, we're not going to activate the south. Has the number 2 star this month. Number 2, of course, the illness star. They can create a little bit of an imbalance, especially around health and mental health, stress, some issues with authority. The south is fire, which can activate that earth energy. So I don't know that I feel like placing metal in the area would be good this month, but probably just avoiding the loud activity, clean up clutter, don't move the furniture, put bright red in the sector. If you put a salt cure, you can do that, or your preferred cure. Just keep it quiet if possible, especially if you're dealing with a health issue. If you're a Gua 9, with the illness star here, it's not ideal for activation this month. Instead, just focus on keeping the area calm and quiet. Again, it can impact your mental health, so just be cautious if you're a Gua 9. Flying star number 3, the quarrelsome star, goes to the north. And this creates a 3-7 combination for the month. The conflict prone combination. Remember, it's fighting and arguing, so be cautious of that. Star 3 brings tension and arguments, while the 7 adds sharp words or miscommunication. Together, they can create verbal disputes, legal trouble, or a misunderstanding. Physical fight, even. It's important to be mindful of how you speak and respond, especially in high stress situations. If you're a Gua 1, you may feel like progress comes with friction or maybe a misstep in communication. So just take care when dealing with contracts or negotiations, especially, or if you use a sector, be careful in that with that. Okay, just keep it quiet and low traffic if possible. Avoid loud sounds, wind chimes, anything that clanks or clings. No moving furniture, and just be intentional with your language. Consider it a good area for journaling or quiet strategy, but not conversation. So if you're already in a conversation, don't sit in the north for the month, and don't negotiate contracts or sign contracts in this sector for the month of July. Flying Star number 5, Disaster Star, goes to the east to Gua 3. And anytime the 5 joins any kind of other energy, it can be volatile. But with the 9, it can be a little unstable. That 5 yellow is known for bringing misfortune. Some people call that 9 star expansion star. So maybe it can intensify chaos or accidents, even stress. The fire in the 9 feeds the 5 earth, making it, a little bit more challenging with the energy present. If you're Gua 3, just be cautious in the sector for the month. Put a little cure there. Again, it just could increase stress, so be cautious of that if you are Gua 3. You can cure the area or kind of manage that energy by keeping it quiet, avoiding moving furniture. I'd prefer to use a salt cure, maybe a Wooloo gourd or your preferred cure. I wouldn't put metal here because of the clash with that 9 fire star and a clash with the wood energy of the sector. So just keep it quiet, avoid moving furniture and heavy use, and red candles, stuff like that. So it can inflame the 5 star. Just be a little cautious there for the month. Flying Star number 1, the Authority Star, goes to the northeast. It's a challenging combination because the 1 star is usually good, can bring clarity, wisdom, and communication. Also, all that earth in the sector can control that water, so it's not necessarily a good water energy. It can dampen the effect of that good energy, so the sector may feel draining or unpredictable. Just be cautious if you're a Gua 8. Be cautious for the month. And again, you could use the salt cure. You can use a metal item here. It'll weaken the earth energy and enhance the water energy using that production and weakening cycle of the 5 elements. So avoid heavy use and moving around too much in the sector. Try and keep it quiet. Don't really enhance it. Again, we should already have a cure. Maybe you can add an extra salt bowl or something for the month, or a little bit of extra metal. Just be mindful of burnout or overexertion, especially if you work, study, or have a bedroom there. Be quite cautious. No renovation sectors for the month. We're looking at the South as the Grand Duke for the month. The Southeast has a Grand Duke for the year. Of course, the East has a 5 star and that Disaster Star, the Wuji Sha. We're not going to do any renovations there. Northeast, we're going to avoid. And of course, the North for the month and the Northwest for the year. And I do have a little map up on my website with the sectors and the information there if you'd like to go check that out. All right, well, that wraps up the newsletter for the month. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode talking about staying healthy during the summer, those solar cycles and tone for the month, as well as the Zodiac and Feng Shui forecast for the month of June. If you guys miss me at any point during one of my weeks off, I usually put 3 episodes a month and leave that last one free. I was a guest on a local podcast called Deep Dive with Donnie Flamingo. Very interesting conversation. I really enjoyed that it was more conversational. It was about feng shui and some of the weirder things I talk about and cover. So I again really enjoyed that. It was more of a conversation rather than just me talking and at you and trying to teach you something. The topics flowed very well with the host and the co-host. It was pretty interesting. I highly recommend you checking the episode, and I'll link that in the show notes. I have some interesting topics coming up for June. Next week, Father's Day episode, I'm going to talk all about male life force. So we're going to get into that a little bit, the energy of the father. And this will be interesting on why men can only ejaculate so many times as certain ages. So I think that will be interesting. It's basically, you don't want to take away your life force by doing that too many times. And I just thought that was It was one of the weirder, interesting things. And then the week after that, I'm going to have on a very revered member of the feng shui community, Christian Kiriakou. He's going to talk about something called etheric gateways, which are interdimensional realms and gateways here in our world, which will be a really interesting topic. And we're also going to talk about things like his new book. He's also a musician and an architect and, of course, a feng shui master. We'll have a very interesting conversation coming up with him on June 20th. I think I have some pretty interesting topics picked out for the summer. All right, I'll catch you guys next week for that Father's Day episode. Bye.
For a free energy mapping of your floor plan, please check the link in the show notes. To support today's podcast, go to learnfengshui.com, sign up for emails, leave a review, and share with your family and friends.